Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to talk about carbon offsets for air travel. But first I would like to explain what prompted me to make this video. Several things have happened in quick succession, and they are all connected. The first was the Notre Dame fire and its immediate aftermath. Before the flames were extinguished, wealthy donors had pledged hundreds of millions of euros for the reconstruction and restoration of this symbol of France's culture and heritage. Soon after this news broke, people on social media began to share posts, articles and memes questioning why, faced with the destruction of the rainforests, species extinction and with climate change, rich people couldn't be motivated to donate such sums to environmental causes. There was mention of hypocrisy and of wasting money on bricks and mortar when trees and oceans have more urgent need of their money. One answer is that some do donate to environmental causes as well, but it doesn't make headlines because the donations are spread out over time, nurturing growth in various projects. For just one example of this, may I suggest you spend a few minutes reading up on the expenditure of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The second thing that happened was the protests by Extinction Rebellion in London and the subsequent small demonstration at Heathrow. Streets and bridges were blocked and people were generally inconvenienced, but the protesters felt justified on the basis that climate change is now such an urgent issue. Extinction Rebellion were joined by the British actress Dame Emma Thompson, who flew in from Los Angeles where, it is reported, she had been celebrating her 60th birthday. When news of her arrival broke, there were more cries of hypocrisy. People questioned why it is that anyone, actress, celebrity, politician, scientist or environmental campaigner, should fly from continent to continent telling everyone else to reduce their carbon footprint by refraining from using air travel. The third thing that coincided was the BBC programme presented and narrated by Sir David Attenborough, Climate Change: The Facts. If the intention was to cause alarm in order to stir people out of complacency, then it probably worked, but only time will tell. Finally, with all this going on, the weather forecast for the UK was that the Easter weekend was to be the warmest since records began. So, with climate change, species extinction and environmental problems at the top of the agenda at the moment, it got me thinking again about aviation's impact on the planet. We know that aviation and shipping both generate a lot of carbon dioxide. Billions of us use and consume products that are flown and shipped to us from elsewhere. We also know that there is no realistic chance of stopping most people from flying for business or pleasure or from going on cruises. So one solution then is to offset the CO2 generated during these journeys by sponsoring schemes and projects which help to reduce the CO2 in the atmosphere. In other words, carbon offsetting. Most people are familiar with this idea, but for those who aren't, here is a brief explanation. Carbon offsetting is the process of making financial payments to projects and schemes that compensate for the carbon footprint that results from your habits and lifestyle. If you live off-grid in a teepee, then your carbon footprint is going to be very low. On the other hand, if you jet around the world on business several times a year, then your footprint is going to be considerably larger. Whatever the size of your personal carbon footprint, you can offset your impact by sending voluntary donations to, for example, projects that siphon off methane gas at a landfill site, or ones that help distribute environmentally friendly cooking stoves, or any other project that helps to lessen the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. IATA, the International Air Transport Association, describes it thus: carbon offsetting is simply a way for individuals or organizations, in this case airline passengers and corporate customers, to neutralize their proportion of the aircraft's carbon emissions on a particular journey by investing in carbon reduction projects. The IATA website then goes on to say that over 30 IATA member airlines have introduced an offset program, either integrated into their web sales engine or to a third-party offset provider. So you can check your airline for details, and I've included links to a few of them below this video. It may be a voluntary contribution at the end of the checkout process, or the offset payment may be built into the price. If your airline doesn't have such a scheme, you can still participate in carbon offsetting by making a payment using an offsetting website. Again, I've added some links below. Critics of carbon offsetting have suggested that it simply encourages people to continue to waste resources and even worsens the effect by making people even more complacent. But others point out that it increases awareness and leads to a change in habits and lifestyle that reduces a person's overall carbon footprint. In another video, I will list all the airlines that participate in offsetting schemes. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be notified of the next upload. In the meantime, if you want to or need to travel by air, then you have this choice. There are ways in which you can make a positive contribution to combating climate change while still enjoying air travel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. We may not yet be flying around in electrically powered aircraft using electricity generated from sustainable sources, but they are coming. In the meantime, you can still use air travel and help with all kinds of environmental projects.